can you imagine what happened since I met you like 1 year and a half ago, and now since then you have already been accepted to an MBA, completed the MBA, found a job. Okay, and you're going to tell us your situation. It's interesting. So Kevin, you're with us. So maybe they all know Kevin because this seminar is organized for Kevin students. Okay. So Natalia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. Really happy to be here. So, just an introduction, I would start with the fact that I'm originally from Ukraine. I was born in a small town on the border with Hungary, Slovakia, and since that, I've been living across many countries. I live in Ukraine, Russia, Hungary, Spain, and now for the last 10 months, I've been living here in Switzerland. My background is in sales and marketing. And last year, just before all this story with COVID, just before this pandemic started, I was thinking about doing an MBA in one of the business schools in Spain. I was considering going to IESE. I decided also to take a GMAT preparation class in order to be able to finish selection process at IESE. But as all of you know, in what happened in February, so I wasn't able to fully, let's say, concentrate on preparing my GMAT, and also I didn't know whether I was able to take a GMAT in person or it was supposed to be online. And just at that point of time, I also met Dr. Hubert, who also advised me to consider other business schools. And one of the business schools that appeared in my list, it was University of St. Gallen here in Switzerland. And I also realized that for this business school, you actually don't need to have a GMAT. And I thought it could be a good opportunity for me to start a MBA like last year, which was also, I wanted to start it as soon as possible. So I applied to this University of St. Gallen, and I was accepted. And since that, it's been a great journey, super intense, many sleepless nights, but very, very rewarding and very enriching experience.
So it's interesting. So the reason why I wanted to take Natalia's case, okay, is because we have students who don't reach the score that they need. So I don't know if you remember, but last March, Kevin, we took the example of Federica Yunis, who switched from the GMAT to the EA to get accepted to NYU. So basically, what I want to say is that now you have more and more possibilities to wait the GMAT. I've written many posts recently about this, web the GMAT, take an alternative test like the executive assessment test or in-house test. For instance, we had the example, Kevin, of Valeria, who decided to apply for IE, and she got IE with the IE GAT. Okay. Now, basically, so there was another option, of course, that you could have taken, Natalia. So if you didn't want to take the GMAT, I remember that it was an issue. There was also an issue with your employer. Okay. Why not IE, for instance, Natalia? You Spaniard as well. You're Ukrainian, but you have 2 citizenships. Okay. You're Spaniard as well. Why it would have been easy, for instance, to stay in Spain. You live in Madrid, as far as I remember. So it's probably down the street. But for Kevin, it would be easy to study at IE, Kevin, because it's just in front of the office. Okay. So why not IE, for instance?
It's a really good question. So I lived in Madrid for 5 years, and I worked at L'Oreal in Madrid in marketing. But I also knew that I was ready to accept a new challenge and move somewhere else. So I knew that I would like to do an MBA in one of the top schools that would be recognized worldwide. And also I knew that in my top destinations for long term, I was considering Switzerland, Canada, and New Zealand. So I was looking for a business school that would be recognized and would be well known in one of those countries. And I think that EA has really good and strong background. It's a business school more oriented for entrepreneurs. While I also knew that I would like to stay in the corporate world. This is something where I feel quite comfortable and where I have been succeeding so far. So that's why I also was interested more in a business school like abroad and in a business school more focused on corporate strategy.
Okay, that's why you have decided. And from what I understand, and so don't take it bad if you're from Spain, you know that I love your country, but you wanted to have a country, to be in a country where it pays more. Let's be realistic, where people have higher salaries. Anyway, you're from Ukraine, so you spent probably a great time in Spain, but you wanted to see another country, okay? And also you wanted to be in a country that pays better, okay? So that's basically. I don't know where's Kevin. He left because I wanted him to ask us what he has. So basically, that's what you had in mind. So you wanted to have a country that has more opportunities. Okay. So tell me, we spoke together, and of course I was very impressed because you imagine that I have a lot of students now who finish their MBA and who have difficulties finding a job. Okay. For instance, all my LBS, to give you an idea, none of my LBS students has either a job or an internship. I mean, of London Business School, that is supposedly number one. Okay. I have students, for instance, who are lawyers, who are making like 15,000 euros a month. Okay. 15,000 euros a month. They have spent 3 months prepared the GMAT, a fortune to study online at London Business School. And now they find themselves at the age of 32 with not even an internship for the summer. Okay. You imagine how they feel. Okay. It's a great disappointment. For you, it's a fairy tale somehow because tell us how it works in terms of work.
Yes. So I also wanted to come back to the point that you mentioned about higher salary here in Switzerland. Of course, I mean, once you decide to put like so much money into an MBA program, which of course is like huge investment, you're also looking for a program with higher ROI, right? Because you want to have that return as soon as possible. So that's why Switzerland is also like a good country for that. Because as you might know, like starting salaries or like average salaries for an MBA graduate from either University of St. Gallen or IMD, it starts with more or less like 110,000 Swiss francs. So this is something also that helps you to pay off that investment quite fast. And yes, exactly Hubert mentioned. So I think that thanks to my background in marketing and sales, and also I worked for like top FMCG companies like L'Oreal and P&G. This is something that also helped me to get a couple of job offers quite fast. And actually, I think it also was driven by the fact that Switzerland is has headquarters for many FMCG companies. Like for example, P&G is here. The Vella company is here. Also, many pharmaceutical companies. And the good thing is that pharmaceutical companies they now are more and more open to people with with different background, not only science or like expertise in medical devices. And also, I would say that despite all this pandemic and despite all like so many job cuts and things like that, still the market in Switzerland is quite dynamic and quite active. And I've seen like so many new openings and new vacancies. And one of like the last thing that I also would like to mention, if you're considering University of St. Gallen, I would highly recommend it because the career center here is quite strong. And we have career advisors that they have been helping me throughout this year to prepare all my interviews, to choose between different job offers. And also, if you want, you can start a full-time job, or also you can start an internship. It's absolutely up to you.
Okay. So that's something very important that I want to notice is that too many times when I come to visit you in Madrid, many people tell me always big names. Okay, I want LBS, or I want HEC, so I want INSEAD. For instance, I have a student another Carlos. Hello, Carlos, but it's Carlos Bodrato. So it's not you, Carlos. It's another one. And he got a 15,000 euro scholarship from IAC, which is already cheaper than INSEAD. Okay. And he tells me, oh, no, I don't want to go to IAC. I want INSEAD because the name is very important. So the guy, there's already 20,000 euros difference between what he will pay at INSEAD and what he will pay at IAC. Okay. But because of the name, they prefer to pay 20,000 euros more because of the name. And strangely enough, this other Carlos, he wants to spend his life in Spain. He wants to go back in Spain. So I say, look, if you want to live in Spain, and if you have you want to have a network in Spain, you have 20,000 euros difference. Why the hell do you go to INSEAD that has a very small network in your field? Okay. So that's something very important that you have to take into consideration. Be careful with rankings. Okay. I remember that we had an argument with Natalia. Basically, I wanted Natalia to go to AMD. I say, Natalia, go to AMD. It's a better school, better rank, better team. Okay. And she told me, no, I prefer St. Gallen. And at the same time, AMD, there was an issue with the GMAT, and also you have to study for the executive MBA, which is super expensive and probably less useful. So what I would say is that St. Gallen is definitely a good choice, and it's a school that we recommend more and more. Taking the example of Natalia, because she paid a reasonable price, and she got a very good service, and now she has a great job in Geneva. And strangely enough, that's great enough, she got 3 job offers even before finishing. You can imagine, me, I have students who are lawyers taking 15,000 a month, so 180,000 a year, go to LBS, and we don't even have an internship, unpaid internship, not even an unpaid internship, okay? And all of them, not one, all of them, okay? And then you have Natalia who say, hey, no, me, after 4 months, I got 3 job offers, okay? And I tripled my salary. Wow! What are we talking about? What are we talking? What is this rankings? You know, ranking is a big joke, okay? Kevin, are you with us? He came back, Kevin, okay? So I would like Kevin to also talk. So basically, that's also us as educators who have to tell, look, there are rankings, okay? And there is the truth, okay? And make your own opinion. You know me, for instance, I have my own crypto fund. So I have a fund in crypto, and people ask me for advice. And I'm most of the time I'm wrong, by the way. Okay, I'm supposed to be knowledgeable, that I'm knowledgeable on the GMAT, but most of the time I'm wrong because financial market is even worse than the GMAT. And I always say to people, make your own opinion. Okay, make your own opinion because the market is always right and science will not have the last one. Okay, so basically make your own opinion regarding these MBAs. Okay, you have to say, look, finally it was interesting. We receive I'm fighting hard to get INSEAD. I know that a lot of people, for instance, this year will finish INSEAD, they will not get a job, not even an internship. And we spoke with this girl, Natalia, who got 3 job offers in the middle of the MBA. Wow. I should really consider this school. Maybe it's interesting. Okay. Now, basically, the big thing that you have to say is that one of the assets of St. Gallen is, of course, it's a great university, but also it's the country. So what do you think of Switzerland in terms of how would you compare the Swiss economy to the Spanish economy? What difference would you make between the two?
Well, definitely, I would say that the economy here in Switzerland is way more stable, and also like the standard of living is much higher here. Even though I really love Spain, and I believe it's an amazing country, and in terms of quality of life in Spain is amazing. But still, I believe that professionals they are being underpaid in Spain, and while here in Switzerland it's not the case. I think that if you have some good experience, if you also have a good education from one of the top business schools, you will definitely get good salary offers.
Yeah, you have to see that a bus driver in Switzerland makes 4,000 euros. Okay, a lady working in the Colruyt is like Carrefour, and it's a supermarket. It's 3,600 euros. Okay, imagine. Okay, me, I'm a professor at the University of Liège. I have 2 PhDs. I have 1 DBA and I have 1 PhD. I make 2,300 after tax. So if I were a clean lady working for a supermarket, I would make 50% more than a French guy who has another PhD and a DBA from your self.u. Imagine, and works a lot. So yes, it's another world. Switzerland, it's another world. Okay. So what do you work now, Natalia? What is your current job?
Currently, I'm in a position of global marketing manager for the Vella brand. It's a quite known hair care brand in the world, and it's quite interesting position because now I work with different markets. So I have my calls in the morning with Japan, and then in the evening with Mexico, for example. And it's really interesting to learn and to understand business dynamics and or market specifics across the world. That's quite interesting in the wording. And also, I would like to say that my the knowledge and like the expertise that I gained during my MBA studies also helping me a lot. So definitely, I would say it's a really good investment in terms of what you learn, in terms of also like your personal experience, and also in terms of network and connections you will have. But also in your day-to-day job, it will help a lot.
Yes, it's true. So Kevin, you have not seen Natalia for a long time. So Kevin is the reason why we are all here. You agree, Kevin?
Yes.
You seem to be in a good shape, Kevin. You swim a lot, Kevin. You seem to be healthy. Okay.
I'm trying.
He's tanned and in a good shape. You know, a real American.
I've cut my wine consumption down by half.
Yeah.
4 glasses of wine a day to 2.
Yeah.
Little by little.
So Kevin, are you happy to? You want to say hello to Natalia, maybe? It's nice to see you.
Yes.
You know, we all miss you because I've not seen you since December.
Right,
so Kevin,
it's nice to meet you without a mask.
Yeah.
Indeed.
you still wear a mask in Spain? You still wear a mask in Spain? Yes, you still have to.
I think we're supposed to wear masks outside until maybe next Saturday. Then perhaps the measures will be relaxed somewhat.
Because in France, it's off since yesterday. We are off. We don't have to wear a mask anymore. Okay. So you're happy to see. What do you have to say to Natalia, Kevin?
So, how feasible is it for you to stay in Switzerland once you graduate?
Sorry, could you please repeat your question?
How feasible is it for somebody to stay in Switzerland once they graduate from St. Gallen?
Okay, yeah, it's a good question. So I think it's quite feasible. One thing to mention is that it also depends whether you can get a work permit here easy, or if you're from non-EU countries, it might be a bit like a hurdle to get a work permit here. But if you don't have any of those issues, then in terms of job market, it's really active job market, and there are like so many openings every day, and the market is very dynamic. So I would say once you have finished an MBA from University of St. Gallen or IMD or Geneva University or Zurich University, any university here in St. Gallen, here in Switzerland, it's very, very likely that you will get a good job, like highly paid job here in Switzerland.
Yeah. Because what you have to understand is that the system that you have in Switzerland is like the system that we have in Belgium. Universities are very small, and they only train physicians, engineers, lawyers, etc. It's not like in France or in Spain, where a lot of people study at university. So, and most of the people otherwise they have like a professional practice that we call like a sort of community school, where you get a sort of professional certification. So it means that you don't have that many people with MBAs, with masters in Switzerland. So as soon as you have an MBA master, but then you have a lot of value because the Swiss system does not produce enough. The Swiss education system does not produce enough masters, PhD for Switzerland. That's why if you have a good level of education, you can work there. Okay. So tell me, Natalia, it's another interesting thing for you and I, Kevin, to see that basically without the GMAT, you could get a very good MBA. I was explaining to Carlos and Claudia and other people in class, Alvaro, that I have like students, all of my students who are now currently studying at LBS, who had a top job before starting their MBA, do not even have an internship in July. Imagine when you make 10,000 a month, you spend 200,000 for LBS, and you don't even have an internship. Not even an internship. Okay, because you know LBS is a 2-year program. You have a summer internship between year 1 and year 2. And since investment bank, they don't recruit, since consulting companies, they don't recruit, finally, they find themselves without summer internships. So imagine you make you make 10,000 a month, you have a good job in Luxembourg, you stop your job, you have classes via Zoom, you live in a room like a poor student, and at the end of June, you don't even have a 500 euro per month internship. It's funny.
Yeah,
so basically, all that, and when I see Natalia, you see Kevin, she got 3 job offers after 4 months at St. Gallen. 3 job offers, okay, and I'm sure that she was paid at least twice as much as in Spain. Twice as much, easily? 3 times as much? How much? 2 times as much?
Yeah, absolutely. Like this, I would say like a different universe. And I'm really happy that when they asked me first time my salary expectations, I didn't say it because it was like around 30% less than the company offered me. It's just because like the contrast is really high between what you earn in Spain, even though I had like a good position, I had a leadership position at L'Oreal, but comparing to Switzerland, like the gap is really huge. And also I would like from my side, what I would like to say is that when you're considering a business school to apply, first of all, think about your final destination, at least like for the next 3 to 5 years. Where would you like to land? Where would you like to work and live? Like, this is really important. And then the second thing, also, it's important that your business school has a really strong career center. So make sure that maybe when you talk to your admission team, maybe you could ask some contacts of career advisors from that business school so that you could talk to them. You could also get some first impression, or maybe also talk to the graduates from that business school just to understand how that career center helped them, or maybe not. But it's really important for you to know.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, it's very important, Natalia, the care center, but they will never tell you that the care center is not very good. Inside care center is terrible. LBS as well. They have HEC. It's even more. There was a complaint from the student. Imagine the student complained. They wrote a petition to the dean of HEC, saying them that it's unacceptable, that they receive no help, that they closed the care center for 6 months. And they say, and when students complain, they say, "Oh, we're number 7 in the Financial Times ranking." And people say, "Okay, what does that mean? You're number 7 in the Financial Times ranking." So it means that for people, for outside there, it has a value. But they always told me, for instance, my students who are currently at HEC, they say, "I would never recommend HEC." Can you imagine when someone tells you, "I would never recommend HEC"? Can you imagine, Kevin, when you say, "I would never recommend HEC"? The guy from HEC said, "I would never recommend HEC." I went to Harvard, I would recommend Harvard. I went to Sciences Po Paris, I would recommend Sciences Po. I went to Normal Sup, I would recommend the school where I studied. Imagine the guy spent 200,000 euros and he said, "I would never recommend my school." Wow. No? It's
in your mind, what career centers at what university or MBA program stand out as the best?
Alors, in Europe, so of course, St. Gallen is good. IMD is very good as well. So the Swiss one are very good. Okay. So Bocconi does a good job. I would say that ESSEC, basically, I work for ESSEC, as you know. So at ESSEC, we have a different approach at ESSEC. So what we say is that we professionalize our students. So we have a lot of internship. We have something called apprenticeship, where we say, okay, the care center is not the best one, but we're going to make in such a way that our students have a lot of experience, can develop their network during their studies. Okay. And that's what we do. So ESSEC is good for that. But, so yes, I would say, so the Swiss schools, the German schools are good as well. ESMT, VAU is very good. I would say that the countries, sorry to say that, but the countries that do their job well, so Austria, Germany, Switzerland, you see the countries where people are, serious, okay? Not France, for instance, or not Belgium, maybe. But in these countries, they do a good job and they give you a real service, okay? Which is increasingly impressive, okay? So what was it like? Basically, what you told me is that you basically, Saint-Gallen agreed, accepted, so that you start to work. So you have changed the format. So can you tell us what happened? It's incredible. You can imagine. Normally, my students, they go to HEC or INSEAD, they say, wow, there is such a big unemployment. I will go to HEC or INSEAD because that's where I can hide myself and I will not be unemployed. At Saint-Gallen, it is so impressive that she had to stop her study to start her job because she had job offers before finishing. So she has to change the format of her studies. Can you explain that, Natalia?
Yeah, absolutely. So the curriculum at the University of St. Gallen is built in the following way. So you have the core phases. It starts in the end of August and till the end of February. So those 6 months, like we had full day classes, like all day classes. It was super intense, like really incredibly intense. But once we were done in the end of February, we didn't have any more full-time classes. We only had to continue with electives. And those elective courses, usually they last between 3 to 4 days. And quite often they are over the weekends, or you can also like negotiate it with your employer to have once per month or once per 2 months, those 3-4 days off. So this flexibility throughout the year, and thanks to this curriculum, that's something that also allowed me to start my full-time job in March. So basically, once I was done with my core phases, I started it in March, and also I received a lot of support from my MBA program team, because they helped me to build and to choose my electives so that I don't need to to disrupt my working schedule a lot.
Yeah. So can you imagine what they did? Huh? It's impressive. So she had to change the format of her MBA to because she already had a job offer. So what is life like? So you live in Geneva. We're going to finish there, and the last word will be for the star here. So for Kevin. So what is life like so me, I grew up in Geneva, so I know what it is. But maybe Alvaro, Carlos, Claudia, they need to know. So what is life like in Geneva for you coming from Spain?
I would say like the quality of life is really good here, because you have the great weather that I also had in Spain, but you also have like really beautiful views around, right? You have this amazing Geneva Lake. There are also like so many things to do outdoor. I just like being outdoor. I like outdoor activities. So for me, it's also great to have this opportunity over the weekends just to do a long hikes, to do beautiful hikes with the most beautiful sceneries, with like amazing, breathtaking views. And this is something that you can get just in like 10 minutes from Geneva. You already can get those amazing views. I would say it's like really good. It's a really good location. It's true that maybe if you're from Spain and if you really like to like more have like kind of chats in the bars or like restaurants, or more like staying up till late, maybe Geneva is not the best city then. But still, it's quite dynamic, and there are still many like young people here in Geneva. But overall, I would say the life is a bit slower here, yet you can enjoy it to the fullest.
Yeah, because don't forget that during the summer you can go swimming, sailing. There's a lake. In winter you can go skiing. Of course, it's another type of life.
And just sorry, Hubert, if you allow me, I would like to say also one more thing to Kevin, because I really wanted to appreciate Kevin your GMAT preparation course. Even though I didn't take the GMAT at the end, but I had to take the alternative course at the University of St. Gallen. This is Harvard online test, and still everything that I learned during the GMAT preparation course really helped me to pass that online course. Absolutely.
That's so good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, at the same time, if you take Kevin's class, you're very lucky to have a professor like Kevin. Is the best that you can expect to have in Europe. I received his class. It's very well structured. We give you a lot. But, once you finish Kevin's class, you still have to take something like 1 month and practice, because it's not enough. And probably Kevin tells you the same thing. So keep practicing, keep practicing. He gives you the essential, but you have to develop the skills by practicing. Okay. Kevin, famous last word. What would you say? What do you want to say to me, to Natalia? How is life going in Spain? I know that you're going back to Greece next week. Okay, so what would you say? What piece of advice would you say to Carlos, to Kevin, to Natalia, to Claudia?
Just remember that when it comes to the GMAT, you have to strike a balance between your work responsibilities, your family life, your social life, sport. Because if you work too hard on your GMAT, you burn out very easily. And I see it all the time. People get frustrated. They start to hate the GMAT. And if you start to hate the GMAT, you won't do well.
That's absolutely true. I mean, I could say that was my case because I had to work like full time, and during the COVID there was even more workload for me. So I just realized that I couldn't manage it like 2 things at a time. Last year, like full time job and GMAT preparation for me, it was just impossible. So yeah, that's also something you need to take into account. Absolutely.
So it was nice to talk to you all. So everybody who came here, Alvaro, Carlos, I don't know, Maria, there's Omar who is here, hello Omar, Pablo, etc. I will come, by the way, I will come in to visit Kevin in July. The situation was not easy with the test that you have to take the test when you come, you have to take the test when you come back. And we'll have time to talk, in 1 year and a half, we placed about 30 students, okay? And they all got their number 1 choice, okay? And so I hope that it will continue. This week we had a very good surprise with Carlos Quadrato. He got 30% scholarship, okay, 25% scholarship, which is not bad, but still he wants to go to INSEAD. And for all of you who are here, don't forget, if you have a 600, there will be a school for you. If you get a 650, there will be a school for you. If you have 700, there's a school for you. Basically, if you get a 600 and you cannot get more than that, it means that the school that requires 700 is probably not the best school for you. Okay, so go to the school that corresponds to you. Go to the school that will accept you, provided that it is a good one. Okay, and be careful with these rankings because it's completely fake. We are more and more into this business. Okay, and I see that there's a lot of corruption. Okay. I think that there are a lot of naughty things that happen. So I'm so happy to work with Kevin because Kevin is pure. He's someone who's professional. He does his work. There are not that many people like that in this business. But it's true. I think that all these rankings, they are bought out. Okay. All these rankings, it's impossible. Okay. It's impossible to see what you see. It's impossible that HEC is number 7. It's impossible. Okay. There's something behind that. Okay. So you have to make your opinion, okay, and take a piece of advice from Kevin. When you have a question, ask Kevin because Kevin is knowledgeable. He knows also about schools because he has so much experience. And if Kevin believes that we can work together, he will give you my contact information and we'll move ahead together. Hi, Kevin.
Right.
So I'll be happy to see you in June, in July. Have you planned to come back to sometime, Natalia? Or no, in Spain? No?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have many friends, relatives there.
You have many friends there still, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, have a good day.
And thank you, Red, for organizing this, and Natalia for taking time out of your beautiful Swiss weekend to help us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
She took her lunch break. Have a good day.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.